Mohiniyattam is the classical dance form of Kerala, as you know, and literally translates into Mohini meaning divine enchantress and Attam meaning dance, or more precisely, Attam actually means play. So, in keeping with the meaning of this dance form, but before we really delve deeper into it, what is really important to remember is Mohini is not an ordinary enchantress. She is a divine enchantress on a divine mission. And the reason why that the Vishnu had to take this very mesmerizing female form was there are several levels of meaning that one can go into, but the most simple meaning is, of course, to lure evil and lead them to their own annihilation, like you have so many episodes describing Bhasmasura, Mohini and all of that. But at a more deeper level, it would mean that the role of Mohini is really to lure a person from lust to higher consciousness. That would be the really deepest level interpretation of the role of Mohini. And because she's not an ordinary woman, she's not out to just seduce, she's a divine, there's a divinity about her. That is something very important for a Mohiniyattam practitioner to understand. This is the most important aspect of the dance form, that she is not just a seductress. There is a certain sacred and divine quality about her. And in keeping with the name of the dance form, Mohiniyattam, the dance form is very deeply rooted in the feminine spirit. But to me, I would say the dance form has mirrored all the principles of femininity. It has mirrored all the principles of femininity essentially, and therefore to me it's not just a dance, it's a dance form that of course is originated in the temples like most of our Indian dance traditions, but it has a certain contemporary relevance. And to me it is always it has always prodded me to think about what does it mean to be a woman today? What does femininity mean to us in our society? Is it only physical beauty, or does it also mean beauty with intelligence? So that to me has been something that has really inspired me to look very deeply into the dance form and to go beyond its history and technique and culture and all of that. I think it's very necessary to look at the dance form and look at its relevance to our society and our life today. Dance form that I did just now, Astapadi, it's one of the most beautiful items of the Mohiniyattam repertoire, because this was introduced into the repertoire by my mother and guru Bharati Shivaji about 40 years ago, when she embarked on her journey of the revival and reconstruction of Mohiniyattam. And she was inspired to really create this item because it didn't exist in Mohiniyattam before, because Kerala has had a long tradition of these Ashtapadis being rendered in the temples, especially the Guruvayur temple, for several centuries. So it was very logical in a way to really incorporate it and make it an integral part of the Mohiniyattam repertoire. Also because it's significant because Kerala, it also highlights the distinct musical system that Kerala has called Sopana Sangeetam, and even today as part of the Kottipadi Seva, where the temple doors in Guruvayur are opened and closed to the sound of the Edika and Sopana Sangeetam, which is rendered, these Ashtapadis are rendered in a very distinct regional style known as Sopana, very unique to Kerala. So this item of course highlights the technique of Mohiniyattam, and you saw that one can see that the movements are very graceful. But I would say they are graceful, but they are deceptively so. They might look simple, but they are not. They involve a lot of a strength and power. And if we talk of the technique of Mohiniyattam, I think that one could, it would not be far-fetched or an exaggeration to say that Kalaripaita is the parent art form to Mohiniyattam in terms of technique. Kalaripaita, the ancient 2000-year-old martial art of Kerala, because you see a lot of this very deep connect between Kalaripaita and the technique of Mohiniyattam. The movements are internal versus being external. For example, it is not the hand that moves, but it is the inside circle. How do you create a circle from inside? So that is not easy. So to really understand that and to do that, this is also very unique to Kerala. So and in terms of Abhinaya, I would say Kudiyattam is the other parent art form to Mohiniyattam and all the other dance traditions of Kerala. But to me, especially what my mother really did was 40 years ago, really enrich the technique of the dance form, of course besides Abhinaya, but the technique was highlighted. And there was a lot that was created, added, enhanced, all that happened. And once she established the identity of the dance form, once it came to be known outside Kerala, it became famous all over India. It was put on the, probably she was singularly responsible for putting it on the global map. And of course, it greatly inspired me to see her passion and commitment. And what probably I did was it inspired me to really push its boundaries and really look further. And I thought that the idiom of Mohiniyattam was so rich that it could lend itself to themes even outside of Kerala. So, and one of my earliest productions was Unniyarcha, inspired from Vadakkan Patagal, and that's still very, very close to my heart, and celebrating the beautiful Vadakkan Patagal of North Malabar, and the story of a real woman, Unniyarcha, who lived in Badagara 350 years ago. So things like that, and that entire production was based on Kalaripaita. I wanted to explore some new rasas and highlight the technique of the dance form. To me, my productions really speak about very contemporary themes, because I think classical art has to speak to us. It cannot be disconnected from our lives. It just cannot be, because it cannot survive otherwise, and it's not meant to be disconnected. For example, the dance form has influenced me so much as a person, as a woman, as a person, and they all kind of merge and become one. There's no separation. There shouldn't be. And there are some very interesting aspects about this dance form. For example, like I said, it also, the technique really enables the dancer to free herself. And by that, what I mean is, for example, there's a movement like bhi, im, ta, ta, Dhi, im. Now, if I do this and I hold my body tight, you can't do Mohiniyattam. So, what do you have to do? What does the student have to do? So, dhi, im, ta, ta, dhi, im. You just have to let go. You have to let go. So, that's one of the most beautiful aspects of this dance form that I find, that it compels the dancer to let go and free yourself. And the other very important aspect of this dance form, I'd say, is that the emphasis is more on the process than the destination. And by that, what I mean is, for example, I'm not interested in, or we are not interested in just this or just this. But point is, how am I getting there? I'm interested in the how, in the process. I'm not interested in that final pose, but how is my body moving? And how did I get there? So that to me is one of the most beautiful aspects of this dance form, and therefore that much more demanding, because you can't be in a hurry to get to the destination. This Astapadi has been created and choreographed by my guru and mother, and it's very beautiful, where it just describes Radha and her Sakhi, who are wandering in the forest, and suddenly they see the Sakhi. The Sakhi plays a very important role in the Gita Govindam, Jayadeva's Gita Govindam. Sakhi says, oh, look at Krishna over there. You know, he is with beautiful women and he's together with them. Radha, look, my God, what a sight that is. And Radha looks, and obviously Radha is very upset and sad. She's very, very sad to see Krishna with the other gopis, naturally. And then the Sakhi says, the Sakhi goes on to describe the whole scene of Rasa Leela. Sakhi describes the Rasa Leela. So what is happening in the Rasa Leela? Krishna, his body, his entire body is blue, absolutely blue, and his body is exactly like that. And there's a lovely fragrance of sandalwood paste. His whole body, just the fragrance of sandalwood emanates from his entire body. And then he wears around him this pitambara made out of this yellow silken cloth. And he looks so handsome and mesmerizing. and he is dancing with all the gopis. He is in complete, this is what I mean by total play, and it's very interesting actually, because we can also, remember I talked about Mohiniyattam is also play. So it's also reminiscent, this play, of Krishna's play with the gopis. It's the same play. So it's very interesting. And then Krishna, when he dances, you know, his earrings also dance with him. So amazing, my gosh, look at that side. The Sakhi is describing to Radha this whole scene. And of course, in the process, she's also telling the audience. She's creating the entire Rasa Leela for the audience. And Krishna, with his naughty smile, the Sakhi goes on to say, look Radha, Krishna's with so many women. 1, 2, my God, I cannot even stop counting. Quite something he is, my God. Look at that. And Krishna with all the gopis indulging in love play. And then I go on to do the Rasa Leela. This is really the highlight of the whole item. Veera Rasa is this, or when we show Shiva, this is Veera Rasa. Shringara is Adbhutam. Adbhutam. Karuna. Vibhatsa. Raudra. Raudram. Bhayam, Shantam. Shantam is definitely the best.